making it. So I just wanted to say just a big thanks.
Yeah. I was supposed to start the tears. Well, I just we're going to get started here real quickly. But before we get started, I didn't know where to fit this in, but I came here the other night and opened the window, and I was just looking that direction, and the curtain moved like something had jumped in through the window, and it startled me. And I went over and looked at it, and there's a screen there, so there's no possible way that anything could have jumped in through the window, and so there was a little ghost in the house, and so perhaps that's my mom here in the house, and so she's listening, and hopefully gets to hear all of everybody's wonderful words. I'll just this was a note that she wrote to my brother Matt that I think is appropriate. It's just a little piece of this larger note, and she said, "I want to tell you now that I am at peace in my heart." And I think that's, that speaks to her today. So, Kevin, you were going to read a prayer for us?
Yeah, So, anyways, I guess it is. So, my mom, anybody who knows my mom, knew she was very religious. She was, as you know, a little bit more Catholic than the Pope. And so I'm going to read a prayer that she wrote, that she, had written, and it's from the Bible, San Juan chapter 18, page 277. Do not fear. Do not fear. Do not be anxious. I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with victorious right hand. Let's not be earthly minded. Let us raise our souls to heaven.
You got it.
I think there's a little bit more. Be humble. Don't raise yourself above others. And I think that is the end of the prayer. So it's one of Mom's shorter ones.
Amen.
Amen. So, feel free to say a prayer on my mom's behalf, as she, that was faith and family were her two, her two big things in her life. So thank you.
Should I do the obituary? You want to?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to quickly go through the obituary. I wrote an obituary online. Maybe some of you have read it, but I wanted to share a little bit of my mom's background, because some of you may have known her from her days here as mom on the street or at the church or some other capacity, but you may not have known who she was and what she did. She was born in 1938 to parents in the little town of Brigida Maria in Argentina. And even at a very young age, she was very religious. She took to going to church before school. She would walk to church at age 10 to receive Holy Communion, and then she would go to school. So for her, her faith was an absolutely integral part of her life from a very young age. And there's a story that my aunt told me where they were in church together, and my mother would sing very loudly and forcefully, and Sister Maria Magdalena asked her if, or told her that maybe it'd be better if you sang with your mouth closed. So she and her sister laughed about that for years, but her devotion ran very deep. And then her parents told her that if she learned English, she could come to the United States. So she began to study English. She studied at the University of Cordoba, and she learned English. And then her parents said, off to the U.S. you go. I think it was we don't know what to do with you, but we're happy to support your journey to the U.S. So away she went. And And then she went to live with my aunt Victoria, my great aunt Victoria. And apparently she lived by her own rules, which is a very Mireles thing to do, and quickly got kicked out of the house for coming in late and who knows what all. And then she went to live at UCLA. My dad's probably listening here going, oh, you're botching the timeline. It's storytelling, Dad, it's storytelling. And there she was very popular. She would at the dorm where she lived, she would gather friends together, and it was always in the name of some sort of maybe getting together to go to church or some church function. She was very popular and very spirited. And one day she went to her friend Mary Olson and said, "Hey, there's a party at the Newman Center, which is the Catholic Center at UCLA. Let's go." So together they went, and then although there's some dispute in the storytelling, my dad and my mom met over the punch bowl, and this is where I start to cry. Over the Devil's Punch Bowl, which was the spiked punch bowl, and they hit it off. They went to ice cream afterward, and my dad had his wingman. Was it Joe Castro or Billy Castro? Who was your friend?
Bobby Castro.
Bobby Castro. He was with his, and so his wingman Bobby Castro went over and met with, chatted up my mom's friend Mary. They didn't hit it off, but he did the wingman duty of talking to the friends so my dad could talk to my mom. Not much has changed over the course of 60 years. But then, my mom really did fall deeply in love with my dad. Yeah, my mom's crazy, but she told her friend Mary that man is going to be the father of my children, and she remained committed to my father to the bitter end, we celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary here on August 12th. The actual date was August 10th, but we celebrated it here on August 12th, and at that point, my mom had stopped eating solid food. She was starting to head down, but you know what? She leaned over and kissed my father, and not once, but twice, and that was kind of one of the last, like, really physical things that she did. And then, she quickly sort of, her health went down. So right to the bitter end, she was absolutely committed and in love with my father, and I think that's really wonderful. So anyhow, that's their relationship, and then there was 4 kids in there. We'll just the first kid was truly amazing. The remaining 3 remains to be seen. But my mother, for those of you who grew up on the street, such as I forgot to thank Michael, by the way. Michael is our piano player, and he grew up right next door. So he was over here as a kid, and he'll tell you stories about my mom. With my mom wanted to be a mom. That was her thing in life, and all the neighborhood kids were welcome here, and she my mom took to her job, her passion of raising children with such energy and glee. And then Matt came along at the very, towards the end. My mom would have been happy to just continue to be a mom forever if she could have. I think she was disappointed when the time came that she could no longer be a mother to a newborn. My mother was a painter. She loved to paint. She played piano as well. But any of the paintings that you see, either outside or inside the house, they were all made by my mother, and that was I think the thing she really loved to do. And in the past 4-ish years, we're still actually I don't know when she was first diagnosed with Parkinson's. Parkinson's is one of those diseases that sort of creeps up on you and it just slowly ramps up. So it's not like there was just a date in my mind, but over the past few years of her life, it became difficult for her to talk, to walk, but she was creating art up until the very, very end. So that's that's sort of the story of my mom's life. I wanted to share it with you so that we all knew a little bit about my mother as a person. And we'll do a eulogy. We'll do some memories and eulogies in a little bit. But first, what I want to share with you is a little slideshow that we put together. So let's see if we can pull this off. Okay, let me start. Get this. This is a Windows machine, and I don't know how to work these things. So.
Yeah, you do.
The struggle is real.
Lower the volume.
I'll lower the volume in just a second. Okay, salud. guys want to hear another one? Thank you, Michael. We were so fortunate to have him and his brother Eric next door. There's always music, and my mom absolutely loved their music. So I'm sure she would be very happy to know that he was playing here today. How's the volume? Is the volume good? You guys all hear me? Okay. All right. Well, now we get to the favorite part of the day, which is the eulogy. And here's where I get to cry.
Hold on. Anybody else need any more Kleenex in preparation? All right. We're all good.
Okay. So, I talk about my mom as a mom and her great love, and I'm going to finish with that. But I want to talk about another part of her. My mom was actually very quiet as a child. Out of the three children, she was the quiet one, the more serious one, and yet she had an unquiet mind. As some of you may know, she suffered from bipolar disorder. She had her first big episode when I was a child. My dad and I aren't exactly sure when that first episode was, and we have a little bit of disagreement there. But I was a young child, and I've read some of my mother's journals, and she didn't say as much as she was thinking. Things that I thought she didn't pay any attention to. She would write down in great detail, and I think and her thoughts would just build and build, and they would lead to anxiety, and sometimes they'd come out in the form of a yell or something. And so she as I say, she had an unquiet mind, and I think the way she dealt with it, one was through her faith. And some of you I've talked to met her through either the church or through some group that maybe she attended, and so you've seen that side of her. And the other side was through her art. And I've come to view her art as really how she expressed herself, how she expressed all these thoughts that were in her mind that she couldn't put to words. And I look at her drawings, and you can see sometimes the anxiety. You can see the depth of whatever she was feeling at the moment. And growing up, my father, as some of you may know, he was a professor at East LA College, and to my dad, 1 + 1 = 2. There will never be a day when it does not equal 2. To my mother, on the other hand, 1 + 1 could equal 2, or it could equal 3, or it could equal 5. It could equal any number that she wanted it to be. And I think as a child, I viewed that as there was something wrong. But as an adult, I've come to see the beauty in that, and that it was truly it was truly an asset, and it's one that she passed on to me. I've made my living now for 30 years as a photographer. I make art for a living. My work is in museums. My mother would be proud to know, and I told her it's difficult to understand how much she really realized. But I was appointed or selected to be the first photography fellow by the city of San Diego, which is a big honor for me. And this, as an artist, what I do is I look at something and say, okay, how can I not make 1 + 1 = 2? How can I break that? How can I think outside that? And I think, I take that from my mother, and in some ways, I wish I had the vision that she did. Because sometimes I feel very earthbound, where my mother could just be, kind of take off in her own thoughts, as difficult as it might have been. So that's something that I'm very thankful to my mother for, and I think it's something for which she was really underappreciated. I'm going to finish. I don't know if any of you are coming to the church service tomorrow, so I'm going to steal the thunder from the end of my eulogy tomorrow. But I want to just finish with that. I talked about how my mom she was kind of the mom to the neighborhood here, welcoming to everybody. Brigida created a home not just for us, but for all the kids in the neighborhood. Our house was an endless stream of kids coming over to play inside and out, build model planes and railroads, eat homemade popsicles on hot summer days, splash in the wading pool, pin the tail on the donkey at birthday parties, and in our favorite of childhood memories, join in for day-long outings to Huntington Beach in the family station wagon. My mother made all of this wonderful childhood possible. In her passing, I've come to realize that her love for us was like oxygen, always present and critical for our survival. The thing about oxygen is that you're not even conscious of it until it's gone. With my mother's passing, the oxygen has escaped from the room. We acutely feel the loss of her presence and her love. In its absence, we appreciate her caring ways ever more powerfully and recognize how completely it enveloped and supported us. My mother's greatest feats lie not in scaling tall mountains, winning lofty awards, or bringing home a big paycheck. As she told her old friend, Mary Olson, "You have had your career, I have my children and grandchildren." Her success can be measured in the lives of us, her offspring. Through forever wrapping us in her motherly love, she kept bright the embers of curiosity and creativity, thus enabling us to live according to our dreams and share her love for the world. By that standard, Brigida Mireles achieved mightily. Thank you, Mom.
I guess I'll talk a little bit about my mom. And you see the slideshow, and it looks like just a beautiful, untroubled life. Being her son, it wasn't easy. She struggled mightily with mental health. We are the son and daughter of an immigrant. And of course, there's the inevitable immigrant clashes. But as I look back, I used to think of my mom as kind of weak, and there was a lot of, there's a lot of ambivalence, mixed feelings, but I realize now some of the things that I found frustrating were really signs of her love and determination and what she did. And one of the things that's funny is, right, the Argentines, they make their M's look like M's. And as kids, So I'd get my lunch bag and it had Kevin Mireles. At least that's what all of the kids would say. And they'd tease me and I'd be like, Mom, can't you make an M? And every lunch bag would be the same thing. And I realized now that well, shit, my mom was packing my lunch and making, writing every day, right? She was struggling with that lunch box. That lunch bag was packed every day. And a sign of her devotion that I'm eternally grateful for was my grandfather gave her, I think it was $500 to buy a new refrigerator. Did she buy a new refrigerator? No. She signed up for the Stop Smoking program, which is very effective. And guess what it involves? Getting electroshocks every time you take a puff. And you do that for 2 days. You buy 2 cartons of cigarettes and you're required to smoke them nonstop, and you get zapped one after it. And it is incredibly painful and very effective. It's actually one of the most effective stopping smoking ways. And she did that. And she went and she threw up, and it was just sounds awful. She didn't succeed the first time. She went back and went through it all over again so that her kids could have a smoke-free household. And that's love. That is devotion. That is strength. So I am eternally grateful because not everybody did that. And then, so I'm talking about going to the beach, right? We had this big ass 1971 Lincoln Mercury station wagon with the fake wood paneling. And my dad would faithfully paint it, and my mom would just as faithfully run it against the side of something. And then we'd load up all the kids. Eric, Greg, sometimes Steve. I don't know, Mike. Did you ever go? Yeah, Mike, Brian. Not a seatbelt in sight. In fact, you had to flip up seats in the back, but my dad had made a cushion, so he folded down, and we just had the thing rolled down. So it'd be like 10 kids running around the back, and my sister, we'd all be in there, and maybe occasionally she'd have to stop because I'd throw up because I was the family barfer. But we'd make it to the beach. We'd spend the day. Maybe we put sunscreen on, but I don't think so. We would splash all day, and then it was time for hot dogs and marshmallows, and we would have the really fancy hot dog making sticks. We'd have the hanger, the clothes hangers, which we'd untwist and and I'm sure that paint was really good. We eat that up with, crunching away with sand and everything, and then we climb into the car, and I don't think we ever stayed awake for the way back, and we'd pull into the driveway, we'd stumble out, Mom would either hose us down in the driveway or shower us up, and maybe we ate a little bit more, but we just go crash in bed. And those summer days, those were magical, and my mom made that happen. That was, my dad, he was busy, and I don't think he really liked the beach that much. It reminded him, he talked about, why do I want to stand in the sun all day? I used to have to do that for work. But, those were just a few of the things. But, my mom, she drove us to school. She fed us. I used to wet the bed. She'd clean those sheets. She dealt with all the shit. And I look back now and I can appreciate it much more. So I want to say thanks, Mom. Thank you. You raised us. You made me who I am. And I appreciate that. And thank you, Dad, too. Sylvia, would you like to?
I don't have anything prepared except we'll do butterflies, but maybe not thank you. If I look up, I might get a little scared. But first, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. There's so much I can say about my mom. So much is in my heart. I wanted to do a little video of when I was at the facility. Raquel did an audio or video of us dancing, and it was one of the few things that we had together. And she died 5 weeks later, and so I brought something. Maybe I'm not sure what order I want to go in. Maybe I'll start with a little bit of this. The things that she gave was love. It's something you can't like. I know the brothers are capturing it in their way, but it was just a big love, and the kind of love that you would go across the earth for. She brought her creativity, her love for nature. She brought all she could that she had at the time. Forgive me, I'll get my hands down eventually. I feel like I'll be able to concentrate. But I just love her so much. I know how much she endured. And I always wanted to be by her side, and I did everything I could at every moment to be by her side, even if I was misunderstood. And that's because I knew a lot of what she felt and what she was going through. On that note, so thank you, John, for doing this. So one of the things I loved doing during COVID, I was honored to take care of my parents for, I don't know, it was a year and 4 months or something. And it wasn't easy, but it was the most beautiful time I have ever had with my parents. And I got to see my mom the happiest I've ever seen her. I always saw her struggle, but it was just great. Because growing up, she often didn't have the energy or she was depressed a lot. And it was so nice in her later years that she got to express even more and smile. Okay, now I think I can look up. But yeah, when we would go walking at the park, just always waving to everybody and just making the most of life. And it was a joy to do that with her, playing music, dancing with her, whichever. And so on that note, I guess I want to play a little video of her dancing. It was about a week before she came home that video took place. I had a lot of faith that she was going to get through. She didn't. But she had a lot of will to live, and she had a lot of life. She had a lot of life still to live. So on that note, I'm just going to hand these out because this is one of the things they had at the facility. And thank you, Anna, for helping me put these together. That's one reason why I'm late amongst many. But anyways, you'll see her, and I just want to, it's about celebrating the joy that she had in her heart. The love that was so big. And she taught me a lot. She taught me a lot in her own way. I'm so grateful for her. I'm going to miss her a shitload. Okay. Anybody who wants to take, I'll just, you guys can I'll take Okay, no, I'm good. I'm good with these. Thank you. So you can go ahead, John, and just play it. Just moving the energy and the. We all had.
Full screen it.
Yeah, hold on. I'll get this playing first.
Es largo, no va a Thank you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for just being here and your love. I feel it, your presence in this whole thing. So thank you. I love you guys for all the love and your friendship and everything.
I'm Matt. I'm the baby. My parents had their 3 kids and a dog in the 1960s, and I think rhythm method effective 11 out of 12 years, and I was born. My mom was in her early 40s. My dad was 52. And when I went to school at St. Bruno's, everyone would say, "Oh, your grandparents are here to pick you up." And I want to tell a couple stories about my mom and what made her special, how she impacted me, and what I think she gave to the world and we can take from her. We're a family of weirdos, okay? Like we're the weirdos here, okay? And you know, as you heard, we grew up. My mom had bipolar disorder. A lot of weird things happened. And when I was a little kid, I didn't, you don't want to be weird. You want to be normal. Today, I'm founder and CEO of an artificial intelligence company, and I've been inventing new technologies for the last 10, 15 years of my career. And I work on weird shit. And I learned to be brave because of my mom. I was used to being the weird kid in the weird family because of my mama. And it turns out that's a superpower. Turns out I was really lucky. And my mom, she was a weirdo, but the thing more than anything, she had a lot of love. And she brought love into this world. And you know, I went to 13 years of Catholic school. I learned a lot about Christianity, about the history of the Catholic Church, about what it's supposed to mean, about Jesus. Let me tell you a story about my mom. There's 3 churches that she would frequent. One, St. Bruno's over here. The other was Beatitudes over off Santa Gertrudis, I believe. And then the third was Our Lady of Guadalupe over in La Habra. And I remember in the parking lot at Our Lady of Guadalupe, there was this homeless guy. And he was there. And one day, my mom asked him, "Do you need a shower?" And he said, yeah, I do need a shower, actually. And this guy smelled horrible, okay? Before I was a technology entrepreneur, I became a paramedic in New York City, doing 911 for 5 years. I know what a homeless person smells like. This guy was a true homeless person. He smelled terrible. And you know what my mom did? She didn't just give him $1. She didn't just give him an apple. She told him to sit in the car, had me sit in the back seat. She drove him here and gave him a shower. And that bathroom, I believe it was John's bathroom. I don't know if he was here at the time. It was disgusting afterwards. There was a layer of filth on it. But that was my mom. She didn't just read the book. She didn't just go pray. She lived it. I don't know anybody else who grabs a random, terrible smelling, shit-covered homeless person, puts them in their car, and says, "Come to my home and take a shower." That was my mom. That was Brigida Mareles. She gave the world love. She gave us all love. And there's a lot of things that when I was young, I was mad at her. Things that I feel like she didn't do that the other moms did. But now I'm a parent. And God, there's so much you screw up. There's so much room for error, for flaws, for things that you look back and you say, "Oh, should I have done that? Am I going to screw up my kid? I'll screw up my kids." And at the end of the day, your failures don't matter. What matters is your successes. And my mom succeeded in giving me love, in giving us all love. Sylvia, John, Kevin,
My mom gave us love, and it wasn't just our family. She gave everyone love. And I think that that's something that we can all learn from. You know, this is I guess it's not technically a funeral, it's a memorial service, but my mom's dead. She's not here anymore. I mean, she's in the living room, but basically, she's not she's no longer with us. And so part of this is reflecting on her and celebrating about her and her life and what she did and brought into this world. But another part of this is saying, what do we the living take from her? What can we learn from her? It's not just about that she's dead. So what can we take in our lives and learn from her? And I think it's love and loving each other, caring. And this is the thing about my mom, is that the way that she gave love, it wasn't qualified, it wasn't circumspect. She gave love completely pure. She wore her heart on her sleeve. You knew how she was feeling, good or bad, and she was pure. And she taught me that. That's something I've tried to do in my life. I try to be authentic, to tell the people that I love them. Because my mom did that really well. If she loved you, you knew it. She told you all the time, frequently. It was unambiguous and it was beautiful. I think it was Kevin or John that said that, you know, like oxygen, you take it for granted. And that's the thing with your parents. And you're a kid, you don't have to be born, you just show up. And whatever the world is, it's normal to you. Might look crazy to other people, but it's normal to you because that's how life is. And the thing that my mom normalized for all of us, for me, was just love and affection and caring. And I just hope that if you love somebody, if you care about somebody, you go home tonight and you tell them, you tell that person, you tell those people, I love you. And you don't do it in some half-ass way, in some circumspect way where maybe, you know, you would figure it out, but you just say pure, I love you. That love, that is what that woman's life was about. That was her great success, was love, giving love unambiguously, purely to the world. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. I love you.
Dad, do you have a few words you'd like to share with us?
Big holder. Move the chair. I'll get it.
Shall we raise the microphone, Dad?
I got it.
Well, the words have been said. Very well done. As I was thinking of what I might say, I realized I better let them say it, because if I get serious, the emotions will take over. There's so many things that can be said, but they've been very well said. And I realized that if I think of the jovial things, then I can at least speak. And there were several things that I recall were cheerful. They weren't always the things that one would bring out. She was a professional student who could have gotten a master's degree from the different colleges, community colleges, and that she went to. In one class in English, the Argentine pronunciation came up as a problem. They were talking about sheets, and they asked her to pronounce it, and it came out the wrong way. Sheets. The class laughed quite a bit. She was very, very dedicated, and I was very, very lucky. When she was coming back or coming into the country, they tore up the immigration officer, tore up her tourist visa, and gave her a immigration regular visa for citizenship or whatever. Why? I don't know. I guess she conveyed that feeling, and it was lucky for me. She landed at some point in New York looking for an address in Harlem in the middle of night, walking alone. She said, some policeman followed me and told me where it was. How lucky can you be? You know, I think I can honestly say that probably the best thing I can do is thank you for being here, but thank the boys who worked hard to make this gathering go. Sylvia for being here and sharing with her experience, and the caregivers who didn't have it easy. They did not have it easy, because it's hard to give up your independence. We all, I think, have to get used to it. And she was pretty independent. I should mention Raquel, Luz, Hortensia, Linda, I don't know if she's here, Linda, perdón, last name. But everyone has really been helpful. At the hospital, at the skill center, they all went out of her way to help her. And many of our relatives, our neighbors here, have been great. Sorry, we have lost touch with many. The pandemic raised havoc with society's social problems. I call up and find, where's Elva and Felipe? They're dead. Where is such, but we're lucky that you are here, and I feel very, very lucky to have been Brigida's husband. More than that, I cannot say, because it's been very well said, and to try to outdo that, it wouldn't work. So I want to thank you all for again being here, and thank those of you involved who helped, not only this tonight, but other occasions, to make it a gathering. I'll just share with you perhaps a little bit of gratitude that I have. When I was little, my mother and I, and my little sister, half sister, were living in a very poor town. In 1929, I was born. My dad died before I was born, and the other arrangement didn't work out. We wound up with a little baby sister. And I remember my mother, we did everything I could. I picked cotton, and I hate to admit it, I recycled booze that the Apache Indians used to hide because we lived behind the bar, so to speak, and recycled it to the bootleggers, and anything to make the oatmeal and probably a little milk. But every now and then it was short. And my mother sent me to borrow a couple of cans of carnation condensed milk from the church. And I remember the priest the brother looking and said, "You need some milk." He brought in some goat's milk. Anyway, to make it short, I wanted to pay it back. So out of my ill-gotten gains and cotton picking, I was 11 years old, I decided to contribute to the church. I was paying 50 cents a week. At the end of the year, the priest announced the donors. I was the third highest. But no one knew who Silvestre Mireles was. I was the only Mireles in town, 11 years old. My dad had died 40 miles away, and he was 11 years dead. But I remember thinking, solito naciste, cabrón. Solito morirás. And interpreting that is I'm thinking I would never mention that in church because I became an altar boy later. But I was saying basically, you little buzzard, you were born alone, no one knows you, and you will die. Because my dad died of a bleeding, and I didn't know why. I thought I'd be lucky to live to be 19. But I said, "But I will die alone, fine. Live every day." What a joke. I'll be 94 in a couple of months. And look at you. I'm not alone. Thank you very much for being. Thank you for
Luca, did you want to come and say something?
Oh, that's all right. I got it.
Hi, I'm Luca, son of that dude right there. I didn't really have much planned, but I wanted to say my grandma, bet she was a lovely person. I knew her for shorter than this group. But basically, Hey. She was a nice woman. She gave me gifts. Still even have some still in my mother. Nice. But really nice. Yeah. Keep forgetting what I'm saying, so she was a nice woman. I can't. Sorry. Social awkwardness.
Good job. Good job. All right.
Okay, I think we're going to wrap things up here. Sylvia, you had something for us. So do you want to come to the front here?
Did anybody else want to speak?
I think we got it. Well, did anybody else want to have any stories they wanted to share? You're welcome to. While you're thinking of it, actually, there's one thing that I forgot to mention during my eulogy. I wanted to share this painting with you. This is the first painting that my mother ever did, and it's of me playing right here. There used to be a sprinkler, used to be a faucet, and that was me playing with the water. I used to love to play with the water, and it was literally just a few feet from here. And this is a painting, obviously, that's prized, and it was her first painting. I think it's my favorite, so I just wanted to share this with you all.
I just want to say, my name is Michael LeVan. I grew up next door to the Mireleses, and I remember, well, I don't really remember because, but, you know, Bridget used to always tell me, hey, I used to give you candy when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I walk over here every single day and she'd give me candy. And she always tell me that, I would give you candy. And I just relate with when they were talking about like being different or the weird and all that stuff, but maybe we're the ones that are normal and everybody else are weird, you know what I mean? Because I'm a musician, and you want to talk about different. I mean, my family, I won't go into it too much, but they know, you know, my dad was a trip. I mean, we everybody was playing different instruments, and we just, you know. So anyway, it's, you know, I remember when John Raymond was born, and Bridget, she came over and said, "You want to see the baby?" And I went. He was right in that room right there. He was in a crib, and I remember that it was like, you know, I think I was like 1965 or something. But anyways, I had a lot of memories of going in the station wagon to the beach and doing all these things. And so, thank you. And everything that the kids said was so nice and beautiful. So, yeah, I just want to tell you that. Thanks.
Yeah, come on up.
Amazing, you guys are amazing. My name is Cicneros. I'm dwarf. So this is a remarkable memorial. I only remember seeing this kind of thing in black and white photos in the last century. That you have a gathering at home, which is the way people did do it. I'm going to start to cry. What Matthew said so lucidly and the family talked about is unconditional love. And I know Brigida through a fellowship. There was some allusions made. There's a 12-step fellowship for people who have compulsive eating. They're all based on the principles of AA. These are spiritual programs. And there's a myriad of programs for mental health, compulsive eating, gambling, alcohol, narcotics, and they all work. And they're transcendent. But the guiding energy in a 12-step program is unconditional love. And where religion doesn't always teach unconditional love, it sometimes teaches it conditionally. In 12-step is a transcendent power from a higher power, which includes Jesus, if you wish, or any, whatever you define it as. But that unconditional love comes. And I believe Brigida, in her challenges, and I knew her, in the early aughts, when I'd see her at the regular meetings. I've been in that fellowship for almost 25 years, and I have an 80-pound weight loss. I used to be 300 pounds. I'm not small, but keeping off 80 pounds for 25 years is kind of a miracle. But she offered my late husband and I unconditional love. And in those rooms, there's a lot of unconditional love. And I think she got, the word is succor. She got comfort. And even though, and I say this in the most loving way, we're all broken. All of us are broken. All humans are broken. We all have brokenness. And she found a place where she had a retreat, I think. And I never saw her having a weight problem, but you know, I think she felt validated and comfortable. And her husband, Sylvester, would come pick her up and drop her off. Early on, she would drive. But that's how I know her, and it's from the early aughts, 2000s. But yeah, you guys, your family's wonderful. I mean, the sons and the daughters, everyone turned out really well. And I love that, you know, it's holistic, because we believe in 12-step that nothing happens by mistake. Everything has a purpose under heaven. Everything. Nothing's wasted in God's economy. Nothing. Absolutely nothing happens by mistake. There's a lot of love here. And just grateful to be here. And thanks for letting me share.
My name is Robert, and I live next door to Mike, the house across the street here. My mom's right here left, and she said she gave you candy. Well, she definitely gave me candy. I used to like walk home from kindergarten or down the street here, and I would come over and Bridget would watch me after school, and she did some I don't know, little things just to like the candy was an Easter egg hunt. It wasn't just, oh, here's some candy. There was it was like my own Easter egg hunt. I was the only kid she was watching here, and I was like, wow. You got an Easter egg hunt? Somebody mentioned pin the tail on the donkey. Well, I did that too. She read me books and taught me how to some Spanish words, how to actually pronounce an R in my name, or you know, roll an R, you know, all those kind of things. But anyway, just great memories. Thank you.
I think we have time for one more. We're going to be doing the rosary at 6 o'clock. Yeah. Thank you, Robert and Lillian.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Barbara, and I'm usually known with Barbara and Becky. Becky was in the slideshow with Brigida. Brigida was a woman of class, elegant, lovely. She persevered through the end with a determination, an enduring patience, and the patient endurance to the end. And the scripture that comes to mind is Nehemiah 8:10. The Lord is my mighty, mighty strength. Throughout it, she loved her husband, her children, and her faith, her church. She did bring me to St. Bruno, and we would go to healing mass at St. Angela Merici. We love you, Brigida. You shine, you sparkle.
All right.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap things up. We do have a rosary at coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll have Deacon Mike will be coming, and he'll be in the living room with my mother. If you wish to say goodbye or pay your respects, my mother's there. It truly is amazing. It looks like she's sleeping, and she's just gonna wake up, and which I think sometimes I feel like, okay, isn't she going to be here? So again, thank you all for coming. Sylvia, why don't you come on up?
Also, we forgot. There will be sandwiches afterwards.
Oh, we've got sandwiches. That's the reason you really came, right?
So we've got sandwiches and drinks.
Yeah, we'll have some sandwiches prepared. So again, I just want to thank you on behalf of myself, my family, my mother. We loved her dearly, and I really tried to make this a memorial in her honor and carry out her wishes. I do wish she could be here. I think she would love it that you're all here, and I'm sure she would love the words that are said and the music. So again, thank you all very much. And with that, Sylvia, you're going to release.
So let's see. So Bill, my friend Bill, back, bought some butterflies, and I'm gonna release them. I saw a YouTube video one time that they said that there's butterflies and dancing in heaven. So I feel like there's a bit of heaven here, and yeah. So I'm gonna release them, and I just do want to add a note for anybody that hasn't been mentioned. Anybody who hasn't been mentioned, who's been on my mom's journey, who's been in the trenches, in the freaking trenches that a lot of people never saw. And Anna, she knows. There's some people that are not here, but my mom has definitely gone through a lot, and I just want to say thank you, and for all of those that are not here, just thank you for all the kindness, the love that brought her back many times. So on that note, here's some heaven for you, Mama. And thank you all for being here. The butterflies, we make their journey, and we let them take their time. There's no pressure. They're going to spread a lot of love and joy, and they're going to pollinate and all that kind of stuff, right? They do all that. Oh my gosh, I had a pet butterfly actually. Yeah, I did. I had 16 butterflies when I was little, and I walked around. One was literally my pet on my hand. So I'll leave it here. There's no rush. There's no rush. I'm no rush. Put it maybe on my mom's chair. This is actually a real wool, real sheep skin here. Literally skinned by my cousin. Maybe I can put it on there. But yeah, so bless you guys. We're gonna spread a lot of love. Life. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Great to see you. I see you online.
I took a nose dive on the sidewalk. Simplify this. Oh, wow. The day before my birthday.
And as I go, Joseph, I know people, I always tell them, you better look at
I play with folk lessons. I play with a lot of singers nowadays.
One of my last
Joseph's like,
He said, no, I can't. I gotta practice.
and it was he said, faster.
Yeah, and that was when I was 9. I was 9. I played. That was my first one. Remember that?
I remember that.
You were incredible.
And this was late. It was like just before I left.
Yeah.
And you used that. This one.
Yeah. What did you guys do? Okay.
I never went to summer school at Recchia.
Oh yeah.
But I never went for regular semester.
Yeah. So I ended up going. We went to Wall, I played football 1 year, and then my fingers started getting like, I had to do that. And then
You remember my mom?
How you doing?
Last week.
Monarch butterfly. Hi, I'm a kid with like a social anxiety earlier, but I'm just gonna.
Let's go this way. Well, you didn't break your hip. You didn't,
That's what all the doctors
things could have happened.
Hi. Oh, wait, yeah. So active.
She fell before and she got pins and screws in this elbow.
Gotta be so careful. Yeah, I have my daughter's my daughter's 31 years old. And your grandpa in December.
I have 3 grandkids.
You got 3 grandkids?
Yeah. My little daughter is 37. My other daughter is 35.
Wow.
The 35-year-old's got 3 kids.
Hey, they said they told me it's a wonderful feeling to have a grandkid. It's like falling in love all over again.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. The nice thing is I don't have to. I can't get to visit them.
E29 people. Look at here.
Okay, I gotta go.
Having something.
I gotta go.
I can wait. Playing with butterflies. Yay. Why am I doing this little dance? Good. Be careful. What's that?
That's great.
There's a third in line.
Just
Good line for Mireles.
Greg, he's been working for Southern California, and it's against 4 girls. He's got 100 grandkids.
What is that?
He's been there for like 24 years.
As people listening,
But
fourth in line to the Mireles throne.
he's a Latino. We're all like Rio Valley and Palm Springs, all that stuff.
So
Hi everyone. I'm just gonna sit down here because I'm tired.
And this guy was. Thank you so much for coming. This guy was riding the
That's
training
okay.
wheels.
We're almost dead.
He was riding on training
He
wheels.
was riding on training
Doesn't
wheels.
matter.
Yeah. And your Kevin was in the. What did your dad would put a little.
I'm short.
The playpen in front. I think Kevin.
Bye everyone. Bye around 29 people that are watching. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And goodbye.
There's 5 or 6, I think.
Soap.
Do you remember being out in the street at night and we're throwing like paper airplanes?
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember all that. It was like amazing childhood. You know, we got to play on the street, you know what I mean? I mean, and I remember, like, my mom would just, like, we just knew that we had to be home by dark, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Street lights are on.
but when we, but I
Sometimes we
remember going out and she could call us and stuff, and the thing is, they couldn't find us. Like, if they said, "Hey, is Mike there?" And I think he went over there to the neighbor's house, and then like, but you couldn't. There was no phone. I mean, you couldn't find us until like, but we just had to be home by dark. So you might be gone for like 6 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This one night I remember, my dad comes out of the door and he goes, "Hey, they're landing on the moon.
Oh,
Everybody come in and watch TV. Watch
yeah.
TV." Remember that?
Yeah.
We were out in the dark like throwing.
Yeah.
The street light just came on.
I remember that.
And we were throwing paper airplanes.
Next door neighbor was over there. That's where the cop lived there.
McKinley.
McKinley,
Yeah.
Pat, Dave, and
Peter.
Peter.
I remember that army game that we used to play. Where you had like those soldiers.
Oh yeah.
And no matter what I would do, I could never win. No matter what, because the one time I came super close, I thought, I've got him now. I've got it. He goes like this, and he reaches underneath his bed, and he goes, "These are my reinforcements." And then I was done, because we used to remember we take that ball, we'd like knock them down and stuff like that. We played soldiers for hours.
In your house too.
Yeah,
We would make blocks and build like buildings and forts, and then get the soldiers now.
Yeah.
But these were like big soldiers, right? They look the little ones.
Sorry.
Oh, we had
These
big
things
size.
at the
Yeah,
whatever.
There was a big and there was a little.
They look good.
We had Jack.
You guys ended up with the big ones.
Takes
Yeah.
map. That's it.
They were like plastic soldiers.
Mm.
Yeah. We used to play that like for hours.
But we had mainly the little ones.
Yes, those were the and then you went like gray ones and there'd be like green ones.
Yeah.
Like they were, you know what I mean? You know,
When we bought them last year, they were more dark green.
Yeah.
This year, they were like.
I remember doing that, you know?
Yeah. That and 3 flies and you're up, and kickball, dodgeball, hide and seek.
Oh yeah, I remember running across the street over there at that
Up the hill, in the
up there,
bushes.
trying to get away from everybody.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And, you know, and then we'd be, on the neighborhood, we'd be outside all the time. Yeah, you know, it's mostly outside. Now the kids, you never see them outside. I was in their house.
I felt
So Robert, when was the last time we saw each other? Like, maybe your dad's.
maybe the funeral.
We're just trying to get.
I was here. John was here. We had my oldest daughter was married, and they lived in La Habra, at this Beach Boulevard, just before Whittier, hang a left.
Yeah.
Where this flood control ends up and turns into this little tiny creek, right up there. And she got divorced. Anyway. We were visiting over there, and my son, you guys had met later, about 16 years after my youngest daughter. My son came along, Robert, and he was probably, I don't know, 7, and now he's 18. So he's gonna be 19 next month. So that. So, 20 years ago, we came by.
And the thing is, I live in
I've been living in Tennessee and then now Ohio. So
we just drove by and I said, "Oh,
They hang around.
son, I'm going to show you where we used to live." And I come in the street and I go, "Yeah, that's my house right there, and that's there, and it's Ray." And then that's Ray. And he was out in the front yard. He was out on the front yard getting something, and I said, "Oh, Ray!" And he looks up, sees me, so we all piled in and surprised your mom was here and John was here, and she, took her totally by surprise. She wanted to service something. I said, "You not see that often." And
Get eaten by the birds. I thought that was really smart.
he said, "Yes." And she brought him out a little she goes, "Yeah, I like it." He's like, "I really do like this stuff."
Make the most of it, right?
Everything. We had crackers and cheese and some other stuff too, but my son remembers the seed. But he'll,
Look at that. Oh my goodness.
yeah. So
like so,
Exactly.
right, I would
My mother, I take care of my mother.
I remember everything. My son's age, so my son is probably
Dog got right.
4.
My dad. My eldest is 26.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not a good
Dad
one.
was
Right there, but
He was always up to something with your
I
dad.
remember the
Those
department
two were in
North Vegas.
Did you go to Vegas with him?
Oh, many a time. When people think of like Vegas.
You poor guy.
When people think of Vegas, they're like, oh, gambling, strip clubs. Like I think of pouring tar on and painting,
Sanding and painting and spackling.
Sylvia, I heard you for a little while. And
I heard it's a general in search of an army. He was always,
And I was his army half the time because he was.
So
he would
was
take
very,
me
he was very OCD,
places.
so
Yeah.
He'd be like, so we took out the stoves,
Yeah.
and then we put them in like 2 different apartments that are identical stoves. And
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Oh.
You can't. No.
Oh, yeah?
Take them out, and it's like, I big shit. What do you want me to do? It's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how our parents prepared us for life? Oh man.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm just retired. Property manager. How's that for we have oh really? And I take her little apartments. My dad had a little duplex, and I take care of her. So I take care of 5 properties. But luckily they're all in Southern California. I've been in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, we actually,
I lived on
so
a
we moved
longer
to
cul-de-sac.
the Memphis, we kept our house in San Diego. So,
But they were almost
because we really was like, we can have a house with nice back, and it's like, then discovered that if you sell it, then you wind up paying the 30% capital gain.
Capital gains.
And then we're like, sell it, and then it was like, man, those things worth
I'll let everybody.
Yeah.
Total fluke. And then, so.
Hello, everyone. I guess we killed the power. I killed the power.
No, but yeah, no.
Hello, everyone. I just want to let you know that Deacon Mike will be performing a rosary inside the living room with my mother in just a couple minutes. So if you want to pray the rosary, come on in.
One of the biggest mistakes
Well, the thing is, who knows? But also, like, man, getting out there, trying to get onto the freeway from here. No, trying to get to the freeway from here is a nightmare. Like 20 minutes any direction. But trying to get onto the freeway from where from where his house was, man, what a nightmare! Getting that 91.
Oh, you mean when they moved out to Corona? Yes. Oh, yes. Well, she lives in Riverside.
Where are you living? Oh yeah.
Orange and
so that's something for you to think about. My wife's asking what she's bringing up the food. She's not really big on rosaries. So yeah, so you're retired. What?
I was
on
in
tortillas.
Right? My wife.
What's your wife? Okay.
My father-in-law. Pardon me, I'm these things.
It doesn't go down.
I was afraid.
I saw that. I saw
you grab him, and I was like, okay, good. I was gonna grab him.
Yeah, no, I was like, man, like, what do you like? Well, we had that piece of plywood here.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, but I got
You
used
gotta
it.
level it out. Yeah.
So your wife was your father-in-law.
My father-in-law came here when he was, I don't know, 18 or 17. He was still 17 in a boxcar for accident. Sold fruit on the street and did all that stuff. And he kept finding a way. His wife would get tortillas from a local tortilla factory and take it hot and steamy. He got this like my daughter crashed and fresh tortillas right across the street.
Yes.
So he started doing better. He was selling them out of his car. His wife would just keep restocking them on the corner.
Just in time.
He got somebody to loan him some money. Somebody was getting rid of this in Watts. Somebody was dumping this little tiny store.
We're going to say the rosary
Okay. Okay, great.
I'm going to put this chair over there.
I never met
Hi, how are you?
Ronnie. I'm sure I spoke to you.
Two more?
One of the reasons we did this was because Brigida was a migrant, right? And butterflies are the symbol of migrants. And I didn't know that, but there was a immigrant kind of appreciation week, and there were butterflies on all the flyers and things about it. I worked at college, and butterflies are the symbol of migration. Yeah, so I thought, what better way, especially for her.
So they're kind of just comfortable there. Even the moving of the fabric doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't really get them.
Really scare them out.
No, it doesn't. This one looked like it's getting ready to go.
There you go.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. When you're like,
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hello. We're going to start the rosary.
I'll go into this rosary and then so we got some food coming. We got I don't know if you guys want to stick around or.
Yeah, let's look around.
But you don't have to look in there. I'm the same way. I'm just the same. Guess what? I just found out she was born a few months before me. I was born in 38. 8 months.
Yeah.
So you're younger than me. You're younger, wow. 31? 1931? Oh, no. No, you're older than me. You look wonderful. And I don't have to worry. Go ahead, son. He's not bringing it. Now, who's this thing here? Would you like to say the rosary? Would you like to come in?
I'll pass. Yeah.
You'll pass, okay. Yeah. I bet you're Catholic. Are you Catholic?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. I don't care who, as long as it's Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what religion. If you believe in Jesus Christ, it's somebody handed it because I looked at it and I saw the date. So that's what I was for. Oh, so I want you to ask for it. Okay. And then they said there were more, but I think they were in there. And look at this. Tells you everything going on.
Oh, if you go here, you'll see video, pictures, and
Thank you. I think I took a picture in there too. Thank you. Say, what's your first name? Do you know that Bridget used to always get mad at me for saying, I think I said Bridget. And she said Bridget. I said, no. I think she said Bridget. I think she said Bridget. See, so now I know Lily Ann. Lillian. Oh, Lillian.
right, all one word, Lillian. So, too many things to put on here. I'm gonna go to the restroom. Okay. Okay. You wanna sit over there or over here?
I'm gonna sit over there.
One of those fancy chairs?
Hey, it's Michael. I'm trying to check in with you. I'm still here. If you can believe that. I had to watch the entire film, and then I played a little bit, and then my keyboard's still set out, and they're in there doing the rosary right now. So I don't know what's going on. So I just wanted to see how you're doing. I know it's late. Sorry. 4:06. I didn't even get started until like 4:45. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, it was really great.
Oh, thanks, man.
The way your speech went